Okay, Oak Rovers, this is a video that's going to help you with Math Standard 7.4.1.1. It's in the Mca Iii Test Prep packet. And the standard reads like this. Design simple experiments and collect data. Determine mean, median, and range for quantitative data and from data represented in a display. Use these quantities to draw conclusions about the data. Compare different data sets and make predictions. So number one, here's the problem. It says use the following data set to answer parts A and B. And they have the sets of numbers there. And what it asks you to do is calculate the mean, median, and range. Well, first of all, let's do the mean. So that's the first one they ask for. The mean is just the average. And the way I find the average of these numbers, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 numbers, is I add those numbers up, and then since it's 10 numbers I'm adding, I'll divide it by 10. So 3 plus 4 plus 4 plus 3 plus 22 plus 2 plus 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 equals 53. So when I add those numbers up, and I'll just show you again, I went 3 plus 4 plus 4 plus 3 plus 22 plus 2 plus 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. And since it's 10 numbers I'm adding up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I divide it by 10. Well, that's really equal to 53 divided by 10, or 5.3. So my mean for this set is equal to 5.3. Next, I'm going to find the median. Now to find the median, I put the numbers in order from smallest to largest. So my smallest number is 2. Then it looks like I have 4 3s, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I have 3 4s, 1, 2, 3. And then a 5. And then my last number is 22. So there's my set of numbers. Now find the median, it's the middle score. I have an even number of numbers here. I'm adding 10 numbers, and that's an even number. So I'm going to have 2 numbers that come in the middle. So if I do that, I cross out the smallest and largest, smallest and largest, smallest and largest, smallest and largest. And now I have 2 numbers in the middle. I have a 3 and a 4. I have to find the average of those 2. So what I do is I go 3 plus 4, and I divide that by 2, which is 7 divided by 2, which is equal to 3.5. So my median, or my middle score, is going to be 3.5. And the last one I have to find is the range. My range is my smallest, or my largest minus my smallest. Well, my biggest number is 22, and my smallest number is 2. And if I subtract them, I get a range of 20. So that is going to be my range, 20. So those are the 3 answers that I did for part A. Now part B says this. Which measure best represents the data set? Explain your answer. Well, my data set, if you look at them, when I had them numbered from smallest to largest, I have 9 numbers less than 5, or 5 or less, and then 22. So I had 9 numbers less than 5 and then 22. Well, 20 doesn't represent that data set very well. 20 doesn't really fit with the rest of the numbers. It fits with the 22, but not with the rest of them. 3.5 is right in the middle of all those numbers, and that's the one that's going to represent the data set the best. So I'm going to say 3.5, or the median, represents the set the best. Now, sometimes it's not always going to be the median. Sometimes it might be the mean that represents the data set the best. Sometimes it might be the mode that represents the data set the best. But in this case, it's going to be the median or 3.5 that represents the data the best. Okay? Let's go on to the next one. What's the median attendance for football teams' last 4 home games? So there's the last 4 home games. What I have to do is put them in order. To find the median, I always got to put them in order from smallest to largest. So I have 36,098, 39,002, and then my next one is 40,876, and my last one is 44,887. So the median is going to be the middle score. So I have an even number of scores again, so I'm going to have 2 in the middle, so I'm going to have to find the average of those 2 in the middle. I cross off my smallest and my largest, and I'm left with these 2 numbers. So what I have to do is find the average. So I'm going to add 39,002 plus 40,876, and I'm going to divide that by 2. So let's do that in my calculator. 39,002 plus 40,876, and that's equal to 79878, and I'm going to have to divide that by 2, and I'm going to get 39939. 39939. Awesome. So for that one, it's going to be letter C this time. Okay, next problem. By how much does the range of set Y exceed the range of set X? So I have to find the range of both of them. Well, my range of set X, my biggest number is 10, and my smallest number 8 is 8, so my range is 2. For set Y, my biggest number is 14, and my smallest is 5, so my range is 9. Well, how much bigger is what it's asking is 9 than 2? And 9 minus 2 is 7. So my answer for that one is C, or 7. Now we'll go on to the back page. We have another 3 or 4 to do, 5 to do. Use a set of data to answer question 4 and 5. So I have all these numbers, and if I look at these numbers, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 total numbers. The mean is just the average. I'm trying to find the average of those numbers. So what I have to do here is I'm going to actually add them all up and then divide it by 8. So let's go ahead and do that with your calculator. So if I add them all up, I have 8 plus 14 plus 12 plus 10 plus 18 plus 12 plus 38 plus 56, and that's equal to, when I add them all up, is 168, and I have to divide that by 8. So 168 divided by 8. And the reason I'm dividing it by 8 is because I added up 8 numbers. So 168 divided by 8 is 21, so that answer is A. The next one is, what's the median of the set of data? So to find the median, I get them in order from smallest to largest. I have an 8, and I'll check that off. I have a 10. Looks like I have a couple 12s. I have a 14, 18, 38, and 56. I have 8 numbers, which is an even number of numbers again. So whenever I have an even number of numbers, I'm going to have 2 in the middle. So I have to find the average of those 2 in the middle. So let's cross off from biggest to smallest. And the 2 in the middle that I've left are 14 and 12. Well, the average of 14 and 12 is just going to be 13. It's going to be halfway in between those two. So it's going to be letter B, or 13. Okay, number 6. Which of the following sets of data has a range of 32? So I find the range of each of them. Well, this one's 35 minus 2, or 33. This one is 35 minus 3, or 32. This is 35 minus 4, or 31. And this is 32 minus 1, or also 31. So the one with the range of 32 is going to be letter B, or for number 6. Okay, 2 more to go. Number 7, the data below are the ages and years of students in 2 different focus groups, and they have the 2 different focus groups. If you want to compare how consistent the students' grades were, the least fluctuation between them, which measure was best to use? Well, if I look at this, the one that I'm going to look at for this, if I want to see that they fluctuate the least, I'm going to look at the range of the sets of data. Anytime I look at fluctuating or how much they change or change the least, I want to look at the range. Okay? The middle score, I can have a really big number and a real high number, so the median doesn't work very well. The mode, I could have a lot of really, really small numbers, but then I could have all my other numbers big. So I might have 3 2s, and all the other numbers might be in 100. So they would have a big fluctuation. So the mode doesn't really work either. The mean, I can have 1 and 100, and then a bunch of 50s, and my average is going to be right around 50. So they're going to fluctuate quite a bit too if that's the mean. The one that fluctuates, tells you how much they fluctuate the least is going to be the range. And fluctuate means kind of changing. Okay? I have one more problem, number 8 in this data set. And number 8 says this. In the following data set, which two measures of central tendency have the same value? Now, measures of central tendency are like mean, median, mode, and range. Okay? So I want to see which two measures of central tendency have the same value. So let's find, first of all, let's find the median. So to find the median, and there's 5 numbers, so I'm going to have, it's an odd number, so I'm going to have 1 in the middle. I put the smallest down. And I put them in order, and I go right from the middle, and I get 14 for the median. So my median is equal to 14. The mode is the one that happens the most often. The mode, 14, is also the mode. That occurs twice. I have 2 modes that are 14. The range is going to be the biggest minus the smallest. So the range is 8. So that's the range. And the last one I need to find is the average. The way I find the average or the mean is I add them all up and divide them by 5 since I'm adding 5 numbers. So if I add them up, I have 12 plus 14 plus 18 plus 10 plus 14, and that's equal to 68. And if I divide 68 by 5, oopsie, not 8, I want to divide it by 5. And the reason I'm dividing by 5 is because I define the average, I add them all up, and then divide by how many I add up. 68 divided by 5 equals 13.6. So the 2, and that's my mean. So the 2 that have the same value are going to be my median, which is 14, and my mode, which is 14. So I find my median and mode for letter B. And that is how you do section or standard 7.4.1.1.